everybody, and welcome back to Aussie Starcraft, where we've been casting the Kaspersky Arena King of the Hill contest in October. So in our let's start with the top left. In the top left hand corner we have ZvZ, the defending King of the Hill. In the bottom right hand corner we have our challenger, the LiquidTLO. Now in Game 1, Bly was able to get a great start to this series, taking a 1-0 edge over TLO. TLO now has a bit of pressure on him to be able to come back and try and level this series to 1-1. Now, if you're wondering what's on the line of this tournament, there's a little online tournament, invitational, where players challenge successively against the King of the Hill. The King of the Hill, if he wins, he stays on. If he loses, he gets turfed off, and the challenger becomes the king. There is 4 rounds to the tournament. The prize is increasingly bigger. The first round win is $100, second round $200, third round $300, fourth round $400, for a total prize pool of $1,000. Now that will often get divvied up amongst many contenders as players successfully challenge or lose the hill. So Bly managed to knock Tefl off the hill, Tefl having won the first 2 rounds, taking $300. Bly took the third round for $300 of his own, and now TLO is challenging for a potential $400. So if Bly wins this, he'll take $700 away, so a nice little prize packet for participation. And if TLO is able to win, he'll walk away with $400, so better than a poke in the eye. TLO this time electing to go for his spawning pool first and throwing down his gas quite quickly. Bly feeling, I guess, pretty confident after the last round, electing to not grab his pool and go straight for a hatch. So this will be interesting time. Now throwing down his pool now, but interesting to note there's going to be almost a full minute between these 2 pools completing, and I imagine we'll see TLO scout whether there's a pool or not and the timing of the pool. And I think we may well see some Zerglings making their way across the map. So we'll see if TLO elects to go for that. Actually, oh no, just using the extract trick. I thought that was a little bit quick for a second gas for a Zerg, particularly TLO likes to generally play the gasless Zerg, as you know, grab his expansion, his spawning pool, his 4 queens before really making a committed effort to gas, often just grabbing enough for the Zergling speed. Zergling speed now on the way for TLO. It's gonna, oh, sorry, and for Ace's Bly as well. So those actually fairly close together. No real delays between the 2 of those. Bly now having 2 of his queens on the way, TLO having a queen of his own. His second expansion almost complete now. So we see Bly's going to actually come off pretty well for that hatch first opening. He's going to get away with it with no aggression on TLO's part, well, up to this point in the game anyway, and be able to grab both his queens and his baneling nest. So TLO baneling nest of his own on the way. And we'll see how TLO elects to play this. He went for the Roach Hydra play in game number 1, but wasn't able to quite make it work. Very close to making it work, but the heavy Roach sledgehammer took its toll. So we'll see how TLO elects to play this game. Few Zerglings in the main base. They're going to get cleaned up very quickly, and TLO electing to just continue to drone up. If we look at the Harvesters tab, TLO has a nice little edge, well, a few drones finishing up there, so it's 26-24. And we'll see Bly now trying to drone to catch up. So TLO producing a few Zerglings of his own, probably to try and defend this natural expansion. So a few banelings on their way. Whether these are defensive or offensive, I imagine we'll see quite quickly. Zerglings running in, but TLO's defense is quite impeccable, particularly in the early stage of the game. I'd be very surprised if we see Bly successfully muster an assault on TLO's expansion at this stage of the game. TLO sneakily, he knows where the vision is. He's spotted the overlords with his own overlords. He's got his Zerglings making their way all the way around, so that Bly has quite late notice as to these units that are moving. He wants to pick up this queen, but positioned nicely between the spine crawler and the hatchery. Queen goes down, but only barely. What can TLO get done with these Baneling? He sneaks them past the Spine Crawler. He's going to do a lot of damage to these Zergling and Baneling. These two players trading about evenly. The Queen was lost, which is a bit of a pickup, but both players continuing to stream Zerglings. 12 Zerglings on the way from each of these players. Nice micro from TLO, able to pick off those Banelings. If we look at the workers killed, TLO only managing to pick off one worker there, but both players flooding Zerglings in an attempt to try and make this work. Bly choosing to morph in a few Banelings here, trying to deter any future waves of Zerglings. Look at the income tab, we have relatively even for both these players. Bly again going for the Spire. Stam on 2 base, hasn't got his 3rd base on the way, so a little bit surprising. Will we see a feasible 2 base muter play out of him? He did manage to use the muters, though he didn't do a lot of damage with them in game 1. They certainly helped him get the map control and the extra income from his 3rd base. So TLO just so persistent with this Zergling. He's going to pick off the Queen again, and it's just these little pickups that make a massive difference. That Queen is not going to be there to inject. We actually have Bly with no Queens on the field, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, no Queens on the field from Bly, so Bly could well be feeling the hurt very shortly as his larva comes into short supply. Forced to start another Queen once his oh no, the lair's been finished for a little while. The Spire's almost done. And are forced to build more Queens now at both his locations. TLO's managing to get him a little bit on the back foot. Warping another section of Banelings here. Now interesting that Bly's moved the position of this Spine Crawler. This could actually prove quite fatal if these Banelings sneak in the back and we're able to take out these workers. So TLO, nice micro, has these Banelings separated right out, some going around each side of the hatchery. They are going to sandwich these workers. This could be a great detonation. Well, again, they're pinned in the corner and they're going to go down. Oh, impeccable control, only detonating one Baneling at a time, trying to get maximum effect out of them. Only 6 workers killed, but just a gorgeous little set of micro from TLO there. You saw the Banelings separated so that Bly couldn't just focus them down with 1 or 2 of his own, and just individually pathing across to the workers, both sides of the hatchery, so the workers had nowhere to go, forcing them into a corner and taking some of them out. So nice cute little micro from TLO there, and it really is the little things that make the difference in a ZvZ. So, well, I think it's the little things that make a difference all the time, but particularly in ZvZ and this Zergling Baneling phase of the game, so much can come down to just a single mistake or a single great engagement. So TLO continuing to try and pick up these Queens. We have Banelings going to prevent that surround on the Queen, but TLO just stubbornly trying to detonate these Banelings and get in to finish the Queen off. Going to force Bly to continue to pop those Banelings. TLO grabbing 5 Infestors. That's going to be great to force to stop these Mutalisks. We already have the anti-air well in place. This just isn't enough Mutalisks. We've only got 6 Mutalisks moving out, and that's just not going to pose much of a threat to TLO at this point. He's got 5 Infestors with pathogen glands and quite a few Spore Crawlers out. So his 3rd base still not underway, but he managed to force a cancel on Bly, so he's not very far behind there at all. Will he get in range of these Infestors? Oh, managing to catch 1 Mutalisk in the Overseer. Not a bad big. Oh, catching a second one there. And the Queens using the Queens to mop up the remainder of these units. So 2 Mutalisks going down and 3 more on the way for Bly. This cloud really, well, 5 or 6 muters isn't really an amount of muters that's going to pose a significant threat to TLO. He knows the Infestors are on the way. I'd be surprised if he continues to produce Mutalisks, to be honest. 9 Mutalisks against an almost equal amount of Infestors. So TLO being able to clean these up very cannily. Oh, 4 Mutalisks caught out of position there. He is going to be able to chain a second fungal onto those. We have the Queens wearing down these Mutalisks. Mutalisks and flying them back in for an extra, to give the Queens an extra opportunity to kill them. So unfortunately for Bly there, nothing quite going his way. TLO forcing the cancel on the 3rd yet again. Imagine his own 3rd will come down momentarily. So TLO in a commanding position this game. 9 Infestors out now, and you know at the point where Infestors outnumber Mutalisks that it's really time for a tech switch, and indeed we see that out of Bly, throwing down the Roach Warren and the Roach Speed. So we'll see how he chooses to play this. Zerglings of TLO continuing to be a bit of a pest, getting into the main and natural, picking off workers here and there. We see it's 15 workers killed for TLO, so definitely a nice edge there for TLO. If we look at the units lost tab, again favouring TLO by about 1,000 resources. So safe to say that TLO has got the edge in this game in pretty much every way that counts. Economically speaking, is fairly similar. His third base is going down for both players, but certainly in unit composition, these infestors represent a fairly significant investment for TLO, and we'll see how he chooses to use them. We do have a few roaches and a few mutalisks out now. Probably going to be able to secure and keep that third nice and safe. The real question is what TLO is going to pair up with these infestors, and he is starting to produce roaches quite heavily. So we have 6 on the way at the moment. And TLO supply block momentarily, a few overlords on the way though. And I imagine we'll see a serious roach force hitting the battlefield any minute. These mutalisks sneaking through to pick off a drone or two, but losing a mutalisk for the effort. This queen and spore crawler just going to do so much damage. The spore crawlers do 45 damage against biological air units, which is literally only mutalisks. There's no scourge in Heart of the Swarm, but only mutalisks and overlords and those sorts of things. So only Zerg air units really, and they just tear them apart. So we'll see what Bly decides to do, whether he'll be able to muscle his way back into this game with some more cute mutalisk play, but with all the mutalisks being caught by a fungal, this could be the end of the muta pack. Fungal being chained, TLO not letting these mutalisks go. We are indeed going to see these go down. The queen able to, one last dart will take out the last mutalisk, and right now I'm a little bit concerned for Bly. He's got 25 roaches on the field, so he's not defenseless by any means, but his roaches are relatively unsupported as opposed to the infestors of TLO that have full energy and have been out on the field for some time. So throwing down pathogen glands in his own infestors, but I can't help but feel he's a little bit behind in the unit count, and indeed we see the supply is reflecting that 150 to 127. Few Zerglings, can they pick off an infestor? Not quite. Bly able to defend there. Bly knows he's on the back foot, throwing down some more static defense to try and protect against these potential roach pushes. Not a lot of creep spread out of either of these players, and that's pretty common in Zerg vs Zerg, particularly when both players are using speedlings so much in the early stage of the game. Creep spread's great for vision, but it can potentially help your ally as much as it can help you, so always got to be careful with where you decide to spread it and what use you decide to make out of it. So you don't want to create a creep highway for your enemy that they can exploit, much like these speed roaches over here, making a play at the third base, but they're going to get cleaned up by the Hydras. Able to pick off the queen there, which is always nice. But the Hydras and the spore crawlers are going to force this away quite effectively. TLO now muscling down the rocks, wants to open this expansion. Ooh, nice little fungal growth across the gap from the queen, going to get some nice preliminary damage on the roaches. TLO throwing out some infestors, and the battle's going to be on. Big fungals going out from both sides, doing massive damage on these roaches. Can he catch the infestors here? We have infested Terrans spawning now for both players. Bly, a bundle of Bly's going down unfortunately to that fungal growth. TLO are trying to muscle in here on the third base, but I think the static defense is going to be just enough to hold. These roaches are going down too quickly. Reinforcements of TLO actually missed rally, going straight up to these spine crawlers. We have a second force trying to cut off Bly's reinforcements. If he could pick off these infestors, that'd be a nice play, but the infestors burrowing to avoid that. We have TLO now falling back. Are we going to see a repeat of game 2 where TLO is forced back and forced to capitulate? I don't think so. I think TLO has sufficient forces here, particularly with this amount of infestors, to back up his push. I think even with the reinforcements being so close by for Bly, that TLO is going to be able to take and hold this position in the middle of the map. Still safely mining on 3 bases. Bly himself having lost his third base in that aggression. TLO throwing down a 4th of his own is going to give him a decisive edge. 2 armor almost, well, not almost finished up, a little under halfway. So 2 weapons, 2 armor will be on the field in about 60 seconds. Bly himself only at 1-1, so I have TLO with both a base and upgrade advantage. Starting to look very good for TLO, burrowing a few roaches here and there to give him sight. Can he pick off this base again? There's not going to be a whole lot Bly can do about this. I'm throwing a nice fungal up on the high ground, but Infestor's not taking as much damage as I thought they might. Catching the Infestor with the fungal. That's a great little bit. It gets out with 4 health. Are you kidding me? Bly forced a GG. Infested Terran thrown out on the high ground, and TLO able to muscle his way through there to a win. So TLO able to tie this series up 1-all, taking us into game number 3. So still a best of 5. So first player to 3 games will win it. Is this the start? Well, it's obviously the start of a comeback for TLO, but will he be able to continue it in game number 3, or will Bly be able to regain his earlier momentum? Let us know down below. Who are you betting for? I know TLO is the big favourite, guys, but having seen Bly in the previous games, do you have confidence in his ability to go toe to toe with TLO, or do you think TLO's got a few extra tricks in his little Zerg knapsack? So let us know what you think down below, and hope you guys are enjoying the game. Give us any feedback you've got. Go ahead and share them on Facebook and Twitter. Be good if I could speak English, wouldn't it? Let people know that we're only at game 2 in a best of 5 series, so still 3 great Zerg vs Zergs to go. Let them know that we're casting here at Aussie Starcraft. Thanks guys, we'll catch you next time.